It's Wednesday, the 5th of July, Rongotai College in Wellington. First 15 game, Rongotai College versus St Pat's Silverstream.
Last year, he did too.
Yeah, I rang you, but for this to be
Lawrence's ARs today are Daniel Mankin, a Level 1 Premier referee, and Jerry Tinny Smeaton, who is, I think, a third-year referee, but a very up-and-coming, promising referee. Someone saw Rongotai advanced well over the 10 metre line.
Maybe it's time for a general reminder.
The game says 15 points, yeah, I'm really excited.
Camera's magic. It's actually better than it's good. I've actually put up to 1,000 zoom like that. You must have got session on that.
Yeah, no.
Ben O'Keefe went through the decisions on the test match.
Oh, yeah? On his test match?
No, the Friday night. Saturday night.
Okay.
And how he priced the pub rugby and...
Yeah, telling him he needs to go back. Just like Garcia should have done on Saturday, right?
I as the referee, not as the coach. So,
Let's not even go there.
Yeah.
If we got them twice, I probably thought that was enough.
Yeah, especially in international level, you don't see the urgency, do you? At the breakdown and getting players to either change behaviour.
So I don't know if I picked that up too well, Lawrence, but I reckon you could have got back much quicker to be ball on line. You nearly got caught out, you had to run hard at the end, and then you've ended up in that 5 metre zone on the far side of the paddock, which is a reasonably dangerous area to be in. You could have stayed in field if you got up quicker right at the very start. You obviously made the assumption that he was just going to kick it. Didn't happen, and potentially got caught out.
It's okay, but you can't move in on one movement and go straight up. So that's all right.
Lawrence, my only comment about you sticking your arm out and pointing at the defending backs is it probably pays to actually also look at them as well. Appreciate that you've got ARs and you are mic'd up, but it's actually quite good that you can actually make any final decision yourself because you actually know what's going on as well. So that means you getting into a more side-on body orientation.
oh, nice. Oh. He's running full play as opposed to...
So there, Lawrence, you'll see that you had your back to the defending yellow backs out this side. If you'd stayed out on this side of the tackle ruck the entire time, you would have been able to see all that. But you flicked around into that jockey position and then you were looking into the tackle ruck phase.
It's all presentation.
Yeah, but he looks like a ref.
Lawrence, little things make a really good top referee, and one of them is maybe getting back to halfway first, trotting back, jogging back, and getting up there and then resting back there rather than just walking up. No big deal, perhaps, but it's just a whole lot of little things that make it a really good referee. Whistle, signalling, secondary signalling, and moving around the paddock at all times. See how you ran right around the back of that phase and almost ran into the pass there, Lawrence? You could have actually stayed on that far side of that tackle ruck and just waited to see what happened. No need to run right round. With that ball under control in those ruck situations, Lawrence, I reckon you can be another 2 or 3 metres wider. No need to be in close. You can open up your vision much easier that way.
All offside there.
Good option.
Oh, what are you doing, man?
Good start. Beauty, Josh. Well done.
So Lawrence, I don't know if I picked that up at that line-out, but there was a yellow Rongotai player doing up his laces right beside you, bending down. Commonly as a courtesy thing, you'd blow time off and allow him to do his laces up. You might even comment to the opposing captain that they'll get the same courtesy. Are you wrong? No, not absolutely, but commonly a courtesy thing if it's not going to hold up play too long. No, mate. Sorry about that, camel work. I got interrupted by a spectator chatting to me.
Cram up that number 1 channel, yeah. There's no room to play.
He keeps running to play.
For a secondary referee, though.
Yeah, he's played a lot of rugby.
Has he? Yeah. Well, he's a Kiwi boy, isn't he?
Yes.
Game over. 15. Nice pass. There's your man on your shoulder. Try time.
So another sort of nice, tidy housekeeping issue, Lawrence, is it's blow your whistle, signal, secondary signal, and then do your talking. So there.
Yeah. Did you see it? I didn't see it. Well, I saw that. I didn't see that.
So the referees think that the old guys are 200 metres away.
So that was like my previous comment about little things that make a good referee and look like a good referee. Yeah, because you can't hear the ARs, can you?
Pen or something like that. Because didn't he go to Samoa as a government rep or something?
It was
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah. Now you can. Keep going. Keep pushing him.
For example, we expecting to play stood still. They did move.
told anyone to move or go back or what form.
Cleaned up the ears around.
Ja, det ställer sig hyschigt in. Hyschigt hem. I don't trust that.
Lawrence, if you get your body into more of a side-on orientation, one, you open up that shoulder so you can see the outside backs, and two, you can hold your positioning where you need to be so you don't end up looping around the back of scrums, etc. So you just need to hold that little bit more depth so you don't end up having to run backwards and around the back of rucks and etc.
He hasn't given them any instruction. Two coach killers then, is it?
So see how you ran backwards then, Lawrence, and back into sort of a semi-jockey type situation, and then they came back around to this left-hand side anyway. You could have stayed out on this left-hand side the entire time.
Go, Harry. Go, Albert.
So I just saw you throw your hands up in the air, Lawrence. I don't know what that means. I think in the looking at the law book signals it says a doctor's required, but I don't see any injuries there, so I'm wondering why you threw your arms up in the air. So once again, Lawrence, you're looking straight down the line. If you just actually turn sideways, you can still see everything you want to see, but you can also look along back lines as well. Just a simple little body orientation and you open up your vision dramatically.
Wish I had that in my day.
So once again there, Lawrence, if you look at your body orientation, what you're looking at, for any ultimate decision around those blue backs being on offside, you'd be totally reliant on your ARs. Is that what you always want to be, or do you want to be able to make the ultimate decision yourself about whether the call actually had any impact on the game and you're going to leave it, or you're actually going to go back and play a penalty? So a referee needs to be viewing things so he can make those ultimate decisions. So in light of our one of the very first comments about getting back to halfway, that time you pretty much jogged all the way back, which looks much more like a top referee. So that situation there, you pretty much got into that jockey position and then found you had to get out of it because the pass was going to come straight back at you. If you had stayed out the side, you'd have seen everything you wanted to see and you would not have been in any area where the pass was going to be.
Where's the chasers? Standing on the 10-metre line, they're all in front of them too, aren't they?
Oh, so there's that call for a doctor again. I don't see any injuries, eh? He says very flippantly.
Coaching point for a young AR when you're 10 minutes back. Give them a 10. Just have a communication with your winger. And just say, listen.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, and I just had it all about it.
Well, it was the example one.
Oh, well, I've had a few guys trying to bloody,
Being honest with the go.
yeah, I know, yeah, give them sunglasses.
obviously another chocolate fish there, but I think you can be a lot wider out when there's a clear ball. A lot of the time you're in very close. And I don't think there's any need to do that. You can see and manage just as well from being another 3, 4, 5 metres out at times. So that was a classic on your body positioning at scrum time. You could have been once again side on looking at those yellow backs and still seen everything you wanted to see. Don't know how well I picked that one up, Lawrence, but see how you ran around the bottom of that phase and then across. In actual fact, if you'd come back with the ball and been at least level with the last man's feet, maybe even half a metre back, then you'd have been able to go directly across with that ball to that right-hand side of the paddock. If they'd gone straight ahead to the try line, you'd have been able to go straight ahead. So just would have given you much better options.
Keep on coming, Thomas! Go, Archie!
So Rongotai, the yellow team, got away with it then, but the Silverstream centre was well offside in that phase. They got outside him because he went up too quick, but I don't think you were ever aware of that.
Go, DJ. Go, boys, go, Archie! Get there with Thomas! Go DJ. Go RC. Go wider, boys. The gap. Get up. Come across! Oh.
If you notice there, you had to dodge out of the way of that pass. If you had been infield and just looking across, you'd have been able to see everything you wanted to see and would not have been in the road.
Come across, keep on coming! Push it! Oh, nice, eh?
Chase it.
Pressure, boys.
So I don't know if I picked that up. There's some really good scanning by you and good management of back lines, particularly the out wide. So well done.
Go, Mats! The ball! Unlucky, Chris. Go, Yuck. Hold it. Sit. Come in. Stay up.
Go, Mats.
Come out, Will! Come out!
Across!
Keep on coming!
Hold him up!
Nice, Stevie!
I'll be interested in just reviewing that section of play there, Lawrence. I reckon that's potentially a very, very long advantage for a knock-on advantage. But I'll have a relook at it and have a rethink. No particularly big deal, as long as you're conscious of it.
boys, tackle. Go for the ball.
So see how you had a lot of players in front of you then trying to follow that kick? If you had been out this side of that phase, you'd have just been able to run straight up the middle of the paddock without any players in front of you. Lots of space, lots of vision, and potentially up with the ball for anything next that happened. Do you like this back again?
That guy's been all over the paddock today.
The first of 8. Yeah, he's pretty good.
This will actually be a lot. Good old for a marathon. Try to...
So as a suggestion, Lawrence, every time there's a penalty and there's a kick, go infield rather than going to the touchline, just in case they one day spin it wide, and then you're much better positioned to be able to follow the ball.
The first half was that short one, trying a corner here. I'm seeing him on Saturday. About the only thing I'll probably say to him, I just like to see him run to the ball line, north-south. A lot of these other issues I think will disappear.
Yeah.
Go, Suey! Just look at him, he's running to play. Go, Suey! All he's doing is putting players in the way.
Yeah.
Come out wide. Call them out to stay. Stay, Jess.
So one of the other things you can start to do, Lawrence, is try to straighten up your running lines, like chasing that kick. If you'd run a little bit straighter rather than angling straight for the ball, you would have created a lot of space for you where players aren't running, because the players tend to run for the ball. You're better to run into space, so straighter lines tend to give you that space.
So you can come around, ball on line, come around. That way you get these offside. If these guys are offside, you'll be able to manage.
There's no need for you to be this close to the phase. You can see the ball's all under control. Potentially the yellow player out in the middle of the paddock there was offside, but you were not looking. If you give yourself more width, only go in when you think the ball's and you need to get in to manage, but when you don't need to manage, you can view just as much from another 3 to 5 metres further out, and a much better position for players to run inside you or just pirouette and go out with the ball. and you tend to open up that vision for all the outside backs in terms of looking and scanning for offside play.
Just,
Yeah, here we go. Go across.
So if you look back at that whole entire phase, Lawrence, if you had been in the infield position, you'd have been so much closer to everything. Once again, you'd pushed yourself away around to the other side of the tackle ruck instead of staying infield. Got a long way away from the phase at time. Yes, you've got speed, but that's not everything. Having a good stable base to make good decisions from is and can be just as important. So in the future, it's about developing you and putting yourself into good positions to make those better decisions and be potentially at another phase, another breakdown much quicker and get first defences. Not that you're missing first defences or anything like that, not at all. But you get a bigger game, a harder game, a tougher game. You want to be putting yourself into positions much quicker, and therefore we need to get your positioning into places that are going to be much more advantageous for you. That's not good.
back over the beard. Next try wins.
Nice sprinting, Lawrence. Well done.
Yeah, good work. Didn't even bother replying to him, but yeah, sorry.
Go, Will! Go, DJ!
I'll tell you another one in a minute.
Go, Willie!
Well, that's good. He keeps an eye on it. Do you not know what you say about me, David?
So I don't know if I picked that up, Lawrence, but why is that blue player allowed to play that ball on the ground? He was never on his feet. He was on the ground, reached out and grabbed and brought him towards him. So why is he allowed to do that? So then that would have been a penalty, but then no advantage to the knock-on, you're back to the knock-on. But it is correct. Players off their feet who are not going to the ground in the tackle with the ball have no rights to it. Once again, Lawrence, if you'd run straight and then maybe moved across, you'd have had much better vision, would have seen everything you wanted to see, and not been in really close right at the end again. So instead of just being locked into your position there, when you saw that ball was nice and clear, you could have moved out 2, 3, 4 metres. So in that situation there, Lawrence, she just stopped into the jockey position instead of running up, staying in field and 2, 3, 4 metres out.